everybody, welcome to Rock and Roll Shin-Soo, episode number 75. How's it going, everybody? I'm here with, my name's Gabe Essel. I'm here with my co-hosts, Dennis Levi Leach and Jonathan Getz. How's it going, guys?
You couldn't ask for anything better, right?
It doesn't get better. No.
Because
we've got a very special guest tonight. A good friend of ours. And a very big Pearl Jam fan, Michael Davis, calling us from Oregon. How's it going, Michael?
Oh, it's wonderful, fellas. Am I an uber nerd? Am I a Pearl Jam super nerd? Am I?
Yeah.
You know what I am?
Sure.
Right.
You know what, I'll say no,
right,
Davis, because you talk about other bands. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
True.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
mean,
uber nerd asterisk.
yes.
There's a caveat there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
helmet
Uber
size
is like
grown a couple
an
inches.
old, like a Pearl Jam wizard. Like you just have knowledge. You sometimes maybe sit in a cave.
Thank you.
You know what? I have this fantasy in my head that like when Michael and Jackie first started dating, right? Jackie's like, oh, I'm kind of indifferent to Pearl Jam, and like Davis's head spun around like Linda Blair in The Exorcist, right? Like he didn't like he didn't say anything. The head just spun around, and like Jackie knew that was enough, right? She's like, okay,
Yeah. She immediately changed her mind.
Exactly. Anyway, but no. Thanks for being on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Tell Jackie I said hello.
I will. It's the perfect episode for me to debut.
That's right, man. That's right. Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Well, again, like we said, welcome to Rock and Roll Shin-Soo, episode 75, a field guide to Pearl Jam. And while we've released field guides to years and genres, this will be our first field guide dedicated to a singular band and our geeky breakdown that utilizes our 25 plus years of accumulated knowledge. It's both timely and fitting that this first field guide band is Pearl Jam, which was just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last week, I think, and has been a mainstay in each of our lives since their debut release, 10, started making waves in 1991. Though our ages put us on opposite ends of a generation, we feel we've kind of grown up with Eddie, Stone, Jeff, Mike, and insert your favorite PJ drummer here. And also, I think, and Boom as well.
Boom, yes.
He's more recent
Boom.
but yeah. So their voice made an undeniable impact on us at an impressionable age, helping set the stage for how we approach the uncertainty of adulthood. And though we couldn't have known it at the time, we turned out to be one of the luckiest generations in the history of rock fandom. I think that's very true. A lot of good music came out within our lifetime. Has come out within our lifetime. We latched on to a group that proved to be one of the most sincere, dynamic, and socially aware bands in an industry that so rarely sees a sustained execution of the three in the face of unfathomable success. So, in case I haven't made it clear, we're fond of the band, all right? Jonathan, what were you trying to say with that introduction? But anyway.
I was just trying to figure out a way to spend 90 minutes of my afternoon, and that was to write a one-paragraph Pearl Jam introduction.
Right. Good deal.
Could you show us the trash can with like the 100 copies crumpled up? You're like,
Filled to the brim.
All right. So we'll go ahead and dive right into it. Again, we got Michael Davis hanging out with us tonight. So recently, Pearl Jam was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with some other great bands like Yes. I have to admit, I saw the Rockin' in the Free World, and I really like hearing somebody like Neil Schon play with Pearl Jam. I think that's really cool. I thought his solo was respectable as well on Rockin' in the Free World. So it's cool to see everybody kind of come together at the end.
Alex Lifeson, Getty.
Alex Lifeson as well, and Geddy Lee, and then
Alex and Geddy. That was
fuck yeah. I'm
Yeah.
ready for those guys to join Pearl Jam. So seriously, I'll do a 2 bass attack, 3 guitar attack. That works for me.
Yeah.
And then I can't recall. I want to say, did Alan White come out and play drums with Matt Cameron too?
I think Jack Irons was up there at one point.
It was Jack Irons as well. Okay.
Yeah, Irons was up there.
Cool,
yeah.
Cool. God, that would have been awesome if it was Alan White as well. But
yeah, it would have been.
I guess I might be asking for a lot there. But anyway, so yeah.
No, asking for a lot would have been asking for Chris Squire to be up on stage with them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, really a memorable night and really happy for them. As far as like kind of our introduction to Pearl Jam, it came around at, I guess we could say maybe, I don't know, this word might have been used in the intro here, impressionable times in our lives. I think all of us are about the same. All of us are about the same age. And I think I probably speak for all of us. I think growing up, aside from Pearl Jam and some of the great artists that have come out within our lifetime, I think all four of us were probably drawn to older music. I think it's safe to say the bands that influenced Pearl Jam. So it's I feel really lucky that a band that I think is on par with all those great bands that influenced them. I feel lucky that happened in my lifetime. Not everybody can say that. So I mean, and there's a handful of other acts that are, as or nearly as important to me as Pearl Jam that have come out within my lifetime. But they certainly hold a special spot. And it's kind of like, even though we didn't exist, like we weren't around when what many people consider classic rock happened, it kind of happened again for us. It did. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah.
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, new generation of classic rock, and it was kind of regrounding itself as a result, and pivoting again to set up, the next couple decades.
Right.
Loud guitars were on the radio again. You know what I mean? That was like one of the main things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, it's like, I think one of the biggest compliments you can pay a band is you can tell them that their music is unclassifiable, or you can say it's just rock and roll. And I like kind of check off both of those boxes with Pearl Jam. It's like if somebody asked you, well, what do they sound like? You'd be like, well, I don't know. I mean, it'd be hard for me to. I'd be like, I think I'd end up just saying it's hard to describe, but it's rock and roll. I mean, that's what I'd say if somebody asked me.
Yeah, it's the rock and roll blender, man.
Yeah.
Throw all those, throw some punk in there, throw some classic rock in there, throw some blues in there.
Yeah.
Turn it on to high, and you end up with something like Pearl Jam.
And it doesn't. There's nothing else that sounds like it. I mean, their influences are there, and you can peel back layers and see all that and hear all that, but there's just nobody else that really sounds like them. Yeah, and to me, I think from 10 to Riot Act, every record sounded completely different than the next one. And that's not to say like the last three albums I don't think aren't great or anything like that. It's just for me it was like they were always really kind of like searching for a sound, and it was fun to like and that's a compliment. It was fun to be with them as they were searching for the sound. It was kind of fun to be. I felt like I was kind of on that. As cheesy as it sounds, I feel like I was kind of on the journey with them. We
were. That's not a cheesy thing to say.
Yeah. And I wanted to get. And I'm sorry if I'm jumping around a little bit here, but I wanted to get Davis, your take on like those last three records that I mentioned. For those of you at home who don't have a discography in front of you, that'd be the Avocado record, Backspacer, and then Lightning Bolt. All of those records kind of came out when the four of us weren't like living in the same town. And so we didn't really get to talk about them as much as we would have when, like, we were hanging out when we were 17 and could have
Vitalogy dropped.
And like, our agendas were like wide open, and we could listen to an album 4 times in one day and talk about it for hours on end, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a little harder for me to fit. It's a little harder for me to pencil that in right now. But anyway, Davis, I wanted to hear your take because I've talked to Jonathan a little bit about this. I think I still think they put out really good music, and I'm proud to say that they do. I don't know if like I would call like the last 2 records like phenomenal, but I still like them. You know what I mean? So I want to hear your take, Davis.
I think we have similar opinions on that. Definitely Backspacer and Lightning Bolt. And I think there's a lot of other fans out there that would agree with me. They maybe should have just combined those 2 albums into one album. And you would have had a pretty amazing album if that would have been the case, But whatever, they chose to, add some, especially on Lightning Bolt, what I like to call Eddie Vedder's wedding songs.
Right.
I think, I mean, they're great songs, but I think he maybe should have saved, like Just Breathe and, The End.
Those could have been on a solo release or something, yeah.
Yeah, and then rehashing Sleeping by Myself on Lightning Bolt, then maybe could have, I know that they've got a giant catalog of B-sides. Maybe they could have pulled something out of their hat to fill in for those songs, but I'll be honest with you, the Avocado album, I think, is probably one of their better works.
I think it's solid.
I know that.
Yeah,
man, it's and they don't want to say that it's a concept album, but it's the closest thing that they've ever come to a concept album.
Yeah.
If you really do, there's maybe just like Big Wave is maybe the only song that doesn't really fit into that record, even though it's a really rocking song, it's just, it's whatever, man. Eddie's got to get his surfing songs out of him. I get that.
Yeah, right.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that Avocado album for me is one that I can listen to it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that with Backspacer and Lightning Bolt.
Me neither. I take that back. Let me rephrase. I said 10 to Riot Act. I'll put the Avocado on there as well. So I guess I'm really just talking about the last 2 records.
Yeah. I had kind of missed out on Riot Act, and I bought Avocado when it dropped when I was working at the record store, and I listened to it for like 2 months straight in my car, and I liked it so much that I bought Backspacer when it dropped. And was kind of like, it was a little bit of a letdown coming off of that record.
Yeah,
for sure.
It was.
Severed Hand and Marker in the Sand are probably 2 of the finest back-to-back songs that you can put on an album. And that's just singling out those 2. But
yeah, well, and I think it was it David Fricke, Rolling Stones. Their most prominent album reviewer.
The old guy.
Talked about,
right.
Exactly, the old guy. He talked about, that album coming out with, the punch and gusto of like a live show. Because, you look at the first 4 songs on that record, like it's rock, man. Like they don't fuck around those first like 4 or 5 songs.
Right.
And before they end up, slowing it down finally when you get to Parachutes. After Marker is when that album finally like slows down.
Right.
No, I think that's why I like that album so much is because it was such a, I guess just a punch in the face that first half of that album was.
Yeah.
Pretty phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you on. I'm with Levi on Backspacer. It was. It has its shining moments, but it was quite a letdown.
If I had to pick my least favorite album of theirs, and again, I like the whole catalog. I can appreciate all pockets of it, even if I don't, do cartwheels over every single song. That would probably be my least favorite. Backspacer would probably be like my least favorite record of theirs, if I had to pick one.
Yeah.
God, you guys went negative quick.
Sorry. All right.
Bring it back up.
I'm just giving you shit.
Spread the love. Spread the love.
I don't. I'm so excited when I see Michael. It's kind of like I'm like uncorked. You know what I mean? I'm like a bottle that has a cork, and then I see Michael and I just start talking to him. But we haven't really talked about those two records that much, because
we haven't
just being in different places and everything like that. So I was just curious to get his take, because I don't think I've ever. Aside, like we've been to a couple of the concerts from those records, but like I've never like talked to Michael about those. So I want to hear what he had to say. Yeah, and he feels the same way I do.
Yeah, I do. And I mean, and if the Avocado album is, it's probably my number 3 record from them if I had to do a top 5.
I'll say this. What do you guys? I want to ask you this. What's their most underrated album? I'll say Binaural. I'll say is their most underrated.
Man, underrated?
Underrated according to who?
By the masses or by hardcore Pearl Jam fans?
Yeah. I have to admit I didn't think it out that clearly.
Right.
If I'm going by the masses, I think Yield should have probably been giant.
But it still did well.
Right. It still did pretty well.
It was platinum.
Yeah. I mean, I think after Riot Act, I mean, just records just don't sell. It was kind of we're kind of entering the record after when the Avocado came around. That just it's just a different scale.
I would agree with you, Gabe, that Binaural has some seriously amazing songwriting on it with Insignificance and Grievance. That probably that is probably bypassed or ignored by a lot of people, and I'm not talking about hardcores, but just the regular audiences.
And I would probably agree with you, because that was also the point where they were starting to become, not as culturally relevant as well.
Sure.
It's like the Seattle scene had kind of like essentially was in its death knell at a couple of years before that. So I would have to agree with Binaural.
Yeah. I also what an ending too with Parting Ways as well. I mean. Yeah. I mean that's like they're descending in my opinion. As far as like
here's the super nerd in me, Gabe, who is it doesn't technically end with
it's true.
Parting Ways. It ends with the typewriter song,
typewriter
called Writer's Block.
Yeah. It's true. Sorry guys, I forgot.
Michael, you recite the beat for me, please. Of the typewriter. There's a beat.
There is.
and then a return. So did you guys? I'm going to shift here. Did you guys gather around the radio then for the Fox Theater 1994 FM broadcast?
I did.
Yeah, I got it. I think Michael recorded it for me, and I got it. I had it on cassette. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Atlanta 94. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Was that today? Was that April 16th?
Oh Jesus!
No, it was April 3rd.
Oh, April 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
April 3rd, 94.
Thanks for fact checking that.
You were fucking quick with that fact, man.
That's why you're on the show, Davis.
Well, there were actually 2 shows at the Fox Theater that weekend. It was April 2nd, April 3rd. The April 2nd show produced the Not For You B-side, Out of My Mind.
Nice.
That's where that B-side came from. It was that first Atlanta show, which in its own right is a great show. I've got a copy of it, which I should pass around to you guys.
Yeah, those shows like 94, 95. It's like, it's like the energy level on those shows is pretty intense. I mean, they were essentially, there was a lot of jumping, and they were, not saying a band's popularity, guides how well it's going to perform, but they were so freaking huge then. I mean, they were the biggest band in the world there for about 3 years.
And playing the Fox Theater, which is a modest capacity.
Right. Yeah.
Like 5,000 people. Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the first bootlegs I bought. I think I had it on cassette, but I still bought the bootleg at Atomic, I think. And Fight for Your Cause is with the dollar bill.
Fight for Your Cause. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Was that with like the dollar bills on the front of it?
Yeah. I've got it here. I'll show it to our audience. You can't
nice.
see it, Michael, but
you have it.
Yeah.
Oh, with the dollar bill.
Yeah. But
yeah. Does that throw me into the super nerd category? Right. Come on, dude. I'm remembering the fucking covers of bootlegs, man.
Right? It's pretty bad.
Jeez.
So at this show they played Better Man, I think, for like one of the first times, and it actually started to gain some radio play. Like this live version gained radio play because this was before it came out.
I remember that.
Vitalogy didn't come out for another 8 months.
Right.
W2OZ was playing the hell out of it.
Yeah, so that was and that brings me to the idea of they've had all these unusual hits between having that live version of Better Man come out, and then like Last Kiss and Crazy Mary and Yellow Ledbetter, all being these like a B-side essentially, and generally speaking, and they're like some of their biggest scoring radio hits. Pretty strange.
Yeah, well, and Last Kiss was doubly strange because it was a live sound check.
Oh yes,
they recorded that live. Yeah, that's a live sound check version that made it to number 2 on the charts, only to be stopped by Britney Spears at the number 1 spot.
Well, rightfully so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe if they'd have signed that Pepsi contract.
Wasn't the whipping? Speaking of Vitalogy, wasn't the whipping called something else? Like on
Don't
bootlegs?
Need.
Don't Need.
Don't Need.
Yeah, they called it Don't Need. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Davis, what was your first bootleg?
What was my first bootleg?
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, I was going back on that, and I think the first one that I actually purchased was this just a compilation. It was called New Songs.
I remember it.
Yeah, and it kind of had a funky like purple tinted cover, and it it was just classic like Pearl Jam bootleg from back in the day, like really crappy audience recordings, and then there were a couple of decent recordings thrown on there, a couple improvs. That was my first bootleg.
Yeah.
New Songs.
Nice.
And then, Davis, dude, I remember you got the Soldier Field show. Like, you paid like $100 for it or something like that. And
it was. It was $100, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It had the Live at Leeds style cover, right?
Yep. Red Robin Records, and it's and I think it actually goes for more money on eBay now than I originally bought it for.
Wow. Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. And then it has the Maggot Brain from Milwaukee on it too, right?
Yeah, they filled out that
filler.
Third.
Yeah.
Yeah, they filled out that third disc with some stuff from the Milwaukee show, which you were at that show, weren't you?
I was at those 2 Milwaukee shows and the Soldier Field show shortly thereafter. Yeah. Yeah, the Little Wing Maggot Brain is that's pretty.
Little Wing as
yeah.
well. Yeah.
And then there was also the what was the Thunder and Lightning, the Neil Diamond cover band.
Forever in Blue Jeans, man.
Yeah, Neil. Yeah, Forever in Blue Jeans. Yep. Yeah.
And I witnessed that.
Eddie came out with them, and there was they threw one of those songs on that bootleg as well.
Yeah, I think there's a documentary about those dudes, or actually, it's a husband and wife, I think.
Good.
Yeah, about that.
They're better than you.
My first Pearl Jam CD, because I don't think I bought 10 right when it dropped it or anything like that. But I was in detention at school one day, and in this detention was the box of like Lost and Found. And in this box of Lost and Found was one CD of the 2 CD Pearl Jam Vortical bootleg. It was called Vortical, Vortical.
Oh yeah, Vortical. I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was one CD of it, and like I saw it, and I was like, "Swipe, you're coming home with me," and like I went home and listened to it.
Well done.
So God bless detention.
Yeah.
That's a better story than mine. Yeah, I bought like 10 at like Sam Goody, you know, like
for $17.95.
I bought like 10 and like a company like House of Pain, I think, as well was what I bought that same trip. So
were they in long boxes?
Yeah, they were long boxes. I think my jeans were tight rolled during that trip, probably, you know. But yeah. So, and then I put on 10, and that changed everything when I got home. Yeah. I'm like jeans untight rolled. Yes.
Yeah, like your jeans like unrolled, your hair just got long.
It did. Yeah, seriously.
So
everything changed.
And I think one of the things that makes the band kind of endearing is their connection to sports. Like, they've never been shy about enjoying sports, which can be kind of taboo for some bands. Like you didn't hear Kurt Cobain, talking about the Mariners, season or anything like that.
That'd be weird, wouldn't it?
Right, it would be weird. But obviously,
it turns out In Utero's entirely about Edgar Martinez, guys. All right, I just found
it. Now that's a concept album.
Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. I interrupted your trick.
No, that's fine.
No, that's great.
But yeah, so they just haven't been shy about it, and obviously, opening by starting your band and naming it after a basketball player, Mookie Blaylock, and just generally, appreciating athletes and recognizing like what might be going on at that, during a show, like if there's, a game going on, or, recognizing that the local team is doing well, or, just unabashed Cubs fandom by Eddie there. It makes them, it makes them more approachable. And, they can be like really intense artists, but also just be, dudes who want to know the score to the Brewers game,
Well, yeah, I mean, how smart is a minute? Like, you get famous, and then you make it known that you really like wearing sports jerseys. You get, like, all the best sports jerseys every time you go to an arena. They're like, here.
You're right.
That's a good call.
It's a good play.
Smart guy.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I think one of the, sort of the list of reasons that they're endearing, sports being one of them, is, we talked about all of us being, geeks for the band. Well, that's cool, but they've fed us that as well, because they've done geeky things, I mean, like they released their whole tour like in stores, like what, 2000, you had every single
72 bootlegs.
Yeah, you go to the record store and you'd see 45 Pearl CDs,
Yeah.
And also, so that stuff, the fact that they've, the fan club, Christmas singles, just, they've played into our hands, as far as being.
Yeah, they have.
The album artwork, to get back to Binaural, and I remember, how excited everybody was that they were licensing these NASA photos, and right. The attention to detail, as my buddy Kevin from Portland put it, as one of his favorite, aspects about the band is, just that attention to detail and being nerds about it. And being really meticulous about the posters, and the Ames brothers.
Well, they're they're mostly in house too.
Yeah.
They don't really outsource a lot of those things, So they're totally in house.
They've got good ethics, it seems like. Yeah. I guess that kind of segues into some of their. Their activist work, whether it be, Ticketmaster, the West Memphis 3, or, sort of.
I think Eddie's doing some great work right now with, it's epidermis bulbosa or something like that. I do believe it's a really nasty skin disease, and him and his wife have raised a whole lot of money for that.
Cool. Yeah, and just bringing fans on stage and bringing veterans on stage, and they've been pretty. I think as far as as much as a group of dudes can be, pretty strong advocates for women's rights as well, I think. And
that sets a tone for you to get back to when we were so impressionable at the age of 13 and 14, and that really sets a tone for you to to realize that there's more to the rock and roll lifestyle than just getting chicks. And it's like, oh yeah, there's a message here, and I might look for that sincerity in other bands.
Yeah. God, we could use a big old spoonful of that now. I you know what I mean? Like, I think, it was like them and Rage. It was like, we lived at a time where we had like two of the most like socio-political conscious bands.
And those Clinton years of the 90s seem like fucking heaven compared to what's going on right now, right?
Right.
It's like
could we just get a new Rage Against the Machine or something? Jeez.
Please.
We need a new band to take that helm.
Right.
And they did it without being pretentious. Too.
Yeah.
And a band like U2 comes off, Bono comes off as pretentious when he talks about all his causes. And for better or for worse.
Bono. I think the other three guys in the band don't give a shit, Gets.
Yeah,
this is Bono's thing.
But the way that they do, but the way that Pearl Jam does it just seems, I'm not going to say Bono's insincere, but it definitely seems sincere and a bit more subtle, but at the same time impactful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think they've kind of mellowed a little bit with age too. I mean, obviously they still care about those causes, but I think it's a little subtler than it used to be. I mean, not saying Vedder would like lecture the audience, but I see them doing really admirable things now, but it doesn't seem as much in the sort of, I don't know, it doesn't seem as pronounced as it once was, but they still do it. You know? So.
Yeah, the Vitalogy Foundation donates $1 from every ticket sold to a local charity in the town they're playing in, which is an amazing thing. Like what other band does that?
Yeah,
every town that they go to, they're donating. Like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in some cases. So,
and are they still doing that carbon neutral thing to offset the touring?
They've been carbon neutral, I do believe, since like that 2003 tour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. At one point, they were actually buying up like tracts of rainforest. That's how they were offsetting their carbon. Yeah. So.
Okay. Long story short,
they're good guys.
Saints. All right.
Yeah. They're fucking good guys. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's important, I mean,
it is.
It's nice that your favorite band also, even though I don't know them, seem like good people, as well.
Yes.
So that's good. I guess for lack of a better term, I've been proud to say I listen to them. Sometimes it's like, oh, those guys are fighting the good fight, So
yeah.
You can get rich and famous and still not turn into a total D-bag, right? So
yeah, and I would love to go back just a second when we were talking about their connection to sports, and I've the only major sport that I haven't seen them latch on to yet is a hockey team. What do you think about that, Getz? I would love to know your thoughts because you're a hockey fan.
Well, the problem is
they haven't latched onto a hockey team.
The closest team to the Northwest is the San Jose Sharks. Which isn't terribly exciting. I mean, they've had quality teams, San Jose Sharks, and Neil Young's a big fan, actually. But you would think that, like Neil Young goes to San Jose Sharks games, but which is really weird to see because but Neil's
where's
Canadian.
The shark hat thing? It's like the hat,
big foam hat. Yeah,
yeah. Neil Young, I understand he's Canadian. I mean,
sure,
right.
He's got to watch hockey, man.
Right, exactly.
It's in his DNA.
So yeah, if I don't know if they've ever expressed interest in getting a team up there in the Northwest, but yeah, move the Phoenix Coyotes up there and
that's one of the desert teams. I'm with you. Yeah. There's not a team in Vancouver.
I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, they're with the Vancouver the Canadian teams. Yeah, Vancouver's what 5 hours away.
That's not even. Yeah, it's a few hours away. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They need to latch onto a hockey team, man.
You're right, and they play. They latched on a Chris Chelios. Chris Chelios has latched onto them. He seems to be bros with them.
I mean, I think we've seen Chris Chelios at several of their shows.
Right. It is funny. So real quick to talk about the athletes we've seen. I've seen Dennis Rodman twice. Saw Kerry Wood.
Yes, I've shook Dennis Rodman's hand
right.
to the Pearl Jam show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Willie Wilson was in the house.
I saw John Cusack in the bathroom at the United Center.
Nice. I didn't remember that. What
You're like everybody wants some.
It's like 09. I think it was like 09. No. 06.
Yeah.
09 or 06.
It would have been 06 or 09. Yeah, they were there both years. Yeah.
Nice. One of those two.
Nice.
And me and Gabe, didn't we see Mark Burley?
Oh, we saw Paul Konerko. It was Konerko.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, we saw Konerko. That's right.
Yeah, and somebody. He was with. I looked it up later. He's with somebody from the Blackhawks as well. I can't remember who.
Yeah.
But it was. Yeah. They were at the most recent Wrigley Field show. The first time. Yeah.
I want to say it was Duncan Keith.
What was everybody's?
Duncan Keith, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah. What was everybody's first show? What was your first show?
Soldier Field, 95.
Soldier Field.
Mine was
95,
the New Regal Theater in 94.
And the fact that you saw him there is pretty awesome, man, because that place is a church now. Like, it doesn't even have concerts.
and that set list from that show was amazing as well.
It's one of my most, it's certainly, one of the most memorable moments I've ever had was in that encore when they played Angel, and it was just Eddie and Dave Aberzees on guitar coming out and playing Angel.
Yeah.
And because it's like we thought the show was over. I went with my brother, and it was we were, I don't know, like within 12 rows. Eddie jumped that night too, like kind of a few rows behind us, which was crazy. But that's like I can still picture that happening, and almost like watching it from the aisle because we thought the show was over, and we just kind of like turned around and watched it from the aisle. It was intense.
Yeah, they never have concerts at that venue either, man. It's insane.
It just sold for like $100,000 that venue, didn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
It's a church.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
That show also has the rarest Pearl Jam show poster as well.
Which one is that?
There are the New Regal Theater. Well, I can't even really describe it. It's like got a picture of like I think kind of like Michael Jordan or whatever on it. You'll have to Google it.
I will.
It's really rare. I want to say there was only like a handful made.
Wow. Yeah, I got the T-shirt that night. The puppet T-shirt. I still have it.
Yes.
I still wear it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember that shirt.
Yeah, I still wear it. Yep.
And I think that was one of the first live appearances of. Didn't they play Hard to Imagine that night?
They did play Hard to Imagine. I think they
did, didn't they?
And they played Not For You. It may have been the debut of Not For You.
Nice.
Yeah. That's. No, I feel pretty fortunate because it was like I said, it was a fan club only show, and you just got this offer in the mail. And like you sent money, like my mom and I are like, well, I guess we'll send money, and maybe we'll get tickets, maybe it's legit or not. And sure enough, the tickets actually showed up, and with like just like a photocopied directions to the venue, and pretty surreal. So but that brings us to this really fun fact that Michael and I share, is that we are practically next to one another in the Pearl Jam fan club roster role.
And I was just talking with my friend about this statistical anomaly that me and you are.
You're like a couple seats apart, right?
No, we sit next to one another at shows.
Oh, okay. It's that close. All right. Yeah.
Dude, we sat next to each other at PJ20.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. We sat next to each other in St. Louis, and then when we went down to Florida, we were. But now that they alternate from side to side, we didn't get to sit next to one another one night. But we're like next to one another in the roles.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's very odd.
So, do you guys like lick the stamps and drop them in the box at the same time?
We must have.
Or what?
It was
we must have. And then I think there's been people have dropped out over the years, that just didn't
exactly
their membership.
So you got even closer. There you go.
It just bumped us even closer. Yeah, it's really weird.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, looking at the numbers here, if you do PJ by the numbers, Jonathan wrote this out. There's been 10 studio albums, which is a nice number. 968 shows. You have 300 plus official bootlegs. 5 drummers. Now, one question: was Abersy playing drums at Soldier Field, or was Jack Irons the whole time?
That was Irons.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Abersy left like 94, right? Ish.
Yeah, he actually left while they were recording Vitalogy.
Okay. So 60 million albums sold, and then they played or teased more than 400 different tunes. So take a bow.
That's insane.
Yeah, right.
All right, Davis. Quick.
And another one to add to the by the numbers is they still hold the record for most albums on the Billboard Top 200 at once. Because when they released the 72 bootlegs there in 2000, they had I don't even know what the number is, but they still hold the record for most albums on the Top 200.
Yeah, right. I remember that.
So with the varying set list and the strong studio output and a little bit of punk attitude, it's like the Who, the Clash, and the Grateful Dead had a baby. You know what I mean? So
yep, it is.
Dig it.
Yeah.
We didn't even really get into the set list that much, but yeah, I mean that's such a feature even nowadays to because you can go to several shows in a row and just be totally stoked about each night and getting a whole unique experience.
That's important. Yeah, I mean if they had all this good studio output but just played the same tunes every night, I don't know if that would obviously I'd still like them and the catalog would still speak for itself, but it'd be as a live show it would pale into comparison to what we've been given. Yeah. Because there are some bands that are great that don't change their set list every night, So
right,
yeah.
But to get that combination,
man,
oh yeah, cool, excellent. Well, you know what? Let's going into the Desert Island album draft. Jonathan, I'll let you explain this because you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've done this.
You concocted this.
We've done this in the past, so it combines a desert island album. So what's if you're going to be on a desert island, which album would you choose? And combine that with a fantasy baseball style draft. So a desert island album draft. We will snake it around. There will be 2 rounds. Michael will start, and then. Levi, Gabe, then me. I'll get 2 in a row, and then we'll go backwards. And once an album is taken, nobody else can take it. And so the idea is you're picking probably your favorite album, but then you have to adjust as other albums are taken off the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Davis starts off then. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I have to go with Yield.
Okay.
That was where I was headed. Straight. I was heading. Well, then I got to go 10.
All right.
I'm definitely going No Code. I thank you for letting No Code drop this far. It has made my time on the Desert Island that much better.
All right. Jesus. Well, there goes both of us. Fuck. All right.
Hold on. Did I say I would go third or you would go third? I may have just
go third. No, you got it.
Okay.
You got it.
All right. All right. So you get the next 2 picks.
I like being in the difficult position here, so that's okay. God, 10 albums. Shit, I almost have to go to the discography here just so I don't be like, oh, what? I forgot that one. I'll go with because it's No Code and Yield are off the board. Those would have been my first 2 choices, and 10. That would be my third. I'll go with Versus.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You get 2 in a row here, Gabe, actually.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so it went Yield 10, No Code, and Versus. I'll go I'll go binaural. Yeah, I'll go that one. I almost said Riot Act because Riot Act was one of those ones that didn't leave a big impression on me when it came out, but it's their best grower, in my opinion.
I agree as well.
It's one of my favorites now, but it wasn't when it came out. Like, I liked it, but like I wasn't like, you know. And it's I think it's got the. Yeah, what?
I remember having phone conversations in college about Riot Act and your struggles with it.
Yes.
And you basically told me essentially what has happened. You're like, I will get this in 10 years. Like, I will love it, but I just don't love it now. And like you told me all of this, 14 years ago or whatever.
That's right. And I think, like, aside from, like, I think Bush Leaguer's kind of the weaker track of just because it's so topical. You know what I mean?
The lyrics are topical, dude, but the music is badass on that song.
Yeah,
it is, man.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, if I had to pick like one wart on the album, that would be mine. But anyway, I digress. Binaural then is my choice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that helps. So I have a dilemma here. Do I stay in the same era as No Code and pair it with Vitalogy, or do I jump up to another era? Do I want to be on a desert island with two different eras? Do I want to be on a desert island that includes Matt Cameron? This is a hard discussion because I think Matt Cameron is very underrated and he's a very important part of the direction of the band.
I agree.
And his songwriting input.
I agree.
And so that makes it really difficult. But I think I have to go Vitalogy. So No Code and Vitalogy.
Okay. So it's me and then Michael?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna go Avocado then. I'll start off with 10 and then pair it with Avocado.
Good choice.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Damn, what am I left with here? Lightning Bolt, Backspacer, and Binaural, right?
Riot Act hasn't been chosen.
Riot Act.
Oh, right. Yo, you didn't choose Riot Act. That's right. We just talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
Then I would have to definitely go with Riot Act.
Oh yeah, among those, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think Riot Act might have the best closer of any album. All or None's. At least it's my favorite album closer.
And it also has, I think, one of the best songs that they've ever written, I Am Mine, on there.
Yeah, definitely. The waltz beat.
Yeah. And as far as like 9/11 songs go, quote unquote, that's probably one of the best out there.
Yeah,
it's a good one. Absolutely, man. So I mean,
I like that.
Yeah, so good stuff, man. Well, Davis, man, let's. A while back, I think it was maybe last year, or Pearl Jam headlined Bonnaroo last year, right? Didn't they? I think.
08 and 16. Yep.
08 and 16. Yeah. Okay. Because Levi, you saw them.
I saw them. Only time I ever got to see Pearl Jam.
In 08. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was a great show. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. So we did a Pearl Jam Dream set list. For that episode around the time of Bonnaroo. So tonight, we're going to let Michael write the Dream Bridge Benefit set list. So Pearl Jam has played Bridge Benefit quite a few times, and it's all acoustic. And I would say, usually about a half a dozen tunes, probably? Something like that?
8 songs.
Yeah, it was like 6 to 8 tunes,
Yeah.
Maybe with a guest here or there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Which I'm going to be a purist, and I don't know if I would have any guests. Maybe Neil Young.
Right.
Maybe.
Sure.
But
we'll just have to see how the show goes.
Right. So I've been. This one's been torturing me, man. This has been a hard one to nail down.
I'm sorry, I did this to you, Michael.
No, because this is like, it's definitely one of those things. You've thought about it as a fan over the years, just like, man, if I ever had a chance to write a set list for the band, like, what the fuck would I do?
Which, by the way, another reason that Pearl Jam is so cool is that they've let a fan do that. But go on.
They've let a fan do that. Yeah. Yes, you're right. It was at the Amsterdam show from a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
and it was a great set list. Yeah. But of course, it wouldn't have been the set list I wrote. But yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, and I've never heard an acoustic release. Is there an acoustic release? I've never heard it.
Whoa.
Have they ever done that?
I don't think so.
That'd be awesome. I don't know.
Wow.
Right. And that's probably my favorite show opener, because it just always seems like it's going to be an epic show whenever those guys step out on the stage and you hear that D chord start to twinkle and Eddie's moan. That just kind of always sets the perfect mood for me for their shows. And I love a lot of their openers, but that's as far as I'm concerned, that's the cream of the crop for their openers. And then after that, I would have to do one of my favorite little nuggets that I wish would have been on an album, and I'm glad it finally ended up on the compilation of Lost Dogs, is Fatal.
Ooh.
Oh,
love
nice. All right. Good.
Yeah, man.
Good choice.
Yeah, Fatal. And a very fun song to play on guitar for us guitar players as well. A great tune. Shows you Stone Gossard's writing style very
well. Is it standard tuning?
Yeah, it's in standard tuning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Just a great song, man. And then after that, because you don't really get to hear it a lot, is and I think it would also translate very well acoustically, is Parachutes. One of my favorite songs from Stone, once again. Yeah, Parachutes. Don't hear that one that often.
Mm-mm.
And then I love acoustic Immortalities, so I'm going to have to go with Immortality. Yeah, it's just... But on a side note, Mike would be playing the electric guitar.
All right.
He does sneak that in. He does.
He does sneak that in, yeah. And then... after that, I would do probably Nothing Man, just because that translates very well to acoustic. It's a perfect acoustic song. One of the probably it's just a great acoustic track. And then off he goes. And then it's one of their standards, but it's maybe one of the greatest rock and roll songs ever, in my opinion, is Black. And then I would have to close the show out with Porch, man, because look at that Porch from the Unplugged and Unplugged Porch.
Right.
That just tells you that that song is not only an electric song, but they can rock the shit out of that song acoustically as well. So that would be my closer. And then if the crowd really wanted them to come back out for another one, I would have to say we're gonna, since we're at the Bridge School, we'll bring Neil out and we'll do a fairly obscure Neil song, even though they did it on the PJ20 was Walk With Me from his Les Noise album. So yeah, I love that. I love that track.
Which I think they've done at Bridge Benefit before.
They did, yeah. That's the version from PJ20 was with the
Oh, I'm sorry. You meant at
Bridge.
On PJ20, right? Yeah.
Nice. On PJ20, yeah, on the soundtrack, yeah, in the movie, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well
so
done.
that's my, and I hemmed and hawed over it a lot, man. That's a hard one, dude.
Yeah.
Did you have a first alternate that you felt bad that didn't make the cut?
I thought about and I know that you're a fan of of opening up a show with Wash.
I am. Yeah.
Wash is a great opener. Yeah. That was the other. It's another one of my favorite opening tracks. I was really torn between opening songs, man. That's because it just kind of how it goes. That sets the mood for a Pearl Jam show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Well crafted.
And we could have done the faster version of Wash acoustically.
Ooh, that would have been a little tweak there. Yeah, I like it.
Right? Yeah, man. Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Oh man, we just dug deep on that one, Michael.
Yeah.
I know, man.
I think the rabbit hole's been tapped, guys. Yeah, good times, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, yeah. Definitely. Well, Davis, man, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, dude. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Thanks
absolutely.
for having me, fellas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm drinking beer and talking with my friends. So
yeah,
about Pearl Jam.
We basically took that idea and made a podcast out of it, Michael. So,
Actually, Michael, there isn't even a podcast. We just wanted to chat, and for some reason, we felt like we had to invent this idea of a podcast.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I want to remind everybody, you can check us out on rockchew.com. That's where you can get every single episode of Rock and Roll Shin-Soo Chew, soon to be all 75 of them. So go there and check them out. Check out the archives. There's links and other fun stuff, videos as well, and pictures. So please check out rockchew.com. Also, you can follow us on Instagram and the Twitter at RockInChew. That's in as in nothing man or not for you.
I was going to say not for you, yeah.
Yeah, but it is for you. So please enjoy it.
It is for you.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, and then like us on Facebook as well. And a really cool thing you could do is please leave us a review on iTunes. iTunes, is what would help, and certainly any of your favorite podcasting apps or however you listen to Rock and Roll Shin-Soo Chew, YouTube as well. So please, thanks for listening, and Michael, thank you so much, and we'll see everybody next time. Have a good night.
Peace.
All right.